Welcome to Finding Your Identity in Your Autism Journey, the podcast where we explore complexities, breakthroughs, and unfiltered realities of the lives as touched by autism. I'm your host, Ruth Cassell, here to guide you through heartfelt stories, expert insights, and empowering conversations. Whether you're a parent or a sibling, an educator, or an advocate, this is your space to find community, ask the hard questions, and uncover new possibilities. Let's dive in. Today's episode of Finding Your Identity in Your Autism Journey is brought to you today by LifeWave X39 patches. As a parent of a child with autism, I'm always looking for new tools that truly make a difference. Since my son has started using the LifeWave X39 patches, we have noticed incredible improvements. More joint attention, less aggression, and a reduction in his autism-related symptoms. I have started using them myself, and they've truly been a game changer for my energy, my focus, and my mood. These innovative patches use light to gently support your body's natural energy flow. For better wellness, try them out today and see a difference in yourself. And even so, you guys can visit my link below in the show notes to learn more and to support the show. Welcome back to Finding Your Identity in Your Autism Journey. I'm your host, Ruth Cassell, and I am glad that you are here with me today. On this episode, we're going to dive into the topic of the Autism Spectrum disorder. Okay, I know what you're thinking. You already know about this. I'm going to dissect it just a little bit more, and it might seem a little redundant, but this is going to open up more conversation for later episodes that I felt like needed to be talked about. In creating those episodes, I needed to put the differences of the spectrum that is known as the levels. So this episode is just going to focus on level 1, but it's also going to focus on the levels and their dual levels. A lot of people don't know that there's actual dual levels to autism that is in the DSM-5, and we're going to talk about that today. We're going to actually have 3 episodes, one for each level, and talking about the dual levels that could happen with your current level. Let's dive into it. So autism disorder, we're going to focus on level 1 and what that means to have dual levels under the DSM-5 criteria. If you're new to the autism community and you're trying to understand and how it applies to your child or loved one, this is the episode for you. First, I'm just going to have a quick refresher of the DSM-5, the classifications of autism into 3 different levels, and they're based on the support needs to 2 specific areas. So this is where sometimes you'll hear like my child is a level 2 and a level 1. So in my case, for my son, he's a level 3. So here is where those come in at. So in the first section under the DSM-5, it is social communication. This covers how the individual interacts with others and understand social norms and maintain relationships. So my son in this area is put as a level 3. The next level that they look at is restricted and repetitive behaviors. This includes things like rigid routines, or sensory sensitivities. For some, at level 1, a DSM-5 describes them to describes them as requiring support. That's the key word, support. They are capable of managing many aspects of their daily life, but need help in certain areas, especially when navigating social interactions or handling sensory inputs. But here are critical parts. Not all challenges are equal. Some could have a level 1 diagnosis and the social communication, meaning that they have a relatively mild social difficulties, but they might be a level 2 in the restrictive and repetitive behaviors. This is what we call having dual levels. So what does this look like in real life? So let's break it down. Imagine a child who is very verbal. They can hold a conversation, but they struggle to understand sarcasm or body language or unwritten social rules. They might need a little coaching to navigate group dynamics, which place them in a level 1 in their social communication. Now, I would like you to imagine the same child might have intense sensory sensitivities. Maybe loud noises or fluorescent lights are completely overstimulating. They could also rely heavily on restricted routines, and any diversion might lead to extreme distress. These behaviors might place them at a level 2 under restrictive, repetitive behaviors because they require more substantial support to manage those challenges. And if you don't know if your child has a dual level profile, it is always listed actually on your diagnosis. It's not just a straight. I have only seen a couple that are straight. And you could call my son's to be a straight level because he has the same severity in both. He's a true level 3, where I know in some cases with some children that they are a level 3, 2, or a 2, 1. So this is why autism is called a spectrum. It is not a one-size-fits-all. And the diagnosis isn't about putting someone into a neat little box. Dual levels highlight the complexities of autism and the need to see each individually as a whole person with unique strengths and needs. Now, let's talk about what support might look like for someone with dual level profile. Actionable support strategies for a level 1 with a dual level. For those that have like level 1 autism with a dual level, support needs to be tolerated to each area. Here are some examples. So for the social communication support, you may want to look at social skill groups. These are structured environments where the individual can practice having conversation, taking turns, and reading social cues. Visual supports. Using those visual aids like social scripts or flowcharts can help individuals prepare for conversations or new situations. Role play exercises. Parents or therapists can role play scenarios like ordering food at a restaurant or introducing oneself to someone new. When it comes to the restrictive, repetitive behavior support, let's say for like a level 2, sensory tools like the noise canceling headphones, weighted blankets, or fidget toys that can help manage overstimulation. Structured routines, creating a visual schedule at home and school to reduce anxiety caused by unpredictability. I do like that, but I also would not make it too rigid because they need to learn to be a little bit flexible. I do use this with my son, and you'll find out later in the 3, but I also gotten him to be a little bit more flexible by having things not always be on the schedule for him to work through it. Occupational therapy. A skilled OT can work on sensory integration strategies to help reduce sensitivity over time. You want to collaborate with your team that supports you. So you're going to work with the therapists, the teachers to build out those IEPs, the individual educational plans, and reflect that the dual needs, what the child's dual needs are. Ask for sensory accommodations in the classroom, such as maybe dimmer lights or a quieter corner for a break when they're feeling overstimulated. So resources for level 1 and dual levels. Okay, now I'm going to take you out through some of our resources that can help families for the level 1. So here's some books that I definitely recommend. Uniquely Human, A Different Way to Seeing Autism by Dr. Barry Pretz. This book offers a compassionate and insightful look at autism as its unique way of being. And another book is The Loving Push by Dr. Temple Grandin and Deborah Moore. A guide for parents helping individuals on the spectrum reaching their full potential. I will be posting the links for these books in the show notes below. Therapy options. Look into ABA, Applied Behavioral Analysis, with a focus on naturalistic teaching methods for social skills. Consider thinking about social programs, which can help individuals learn to navigate social interactions in an instructional way. So now, as we wrap up today's episode, there are a few key takeaways. Autism is a spectrum, and dual levels highlight the diversity of the challenges and strengths within the individual. Level 1 does not mean the person does not need support. It means they have needs specifically support tolerance to their unique profile. One thing that a lot of people will say is that my child is high functioning or my child is low functioning. I have met a lot of children on the spectrum on my journey so far, and I don't think that's an accurate representation. It is more of support needs. Some have less, some have more. That is really what needs to be looked at it this way. Because everybody has challenges. That doesn't only mean autistics, but neurotypicals. We all have our own challenges and we all have our own strengths. So understanding the needs for these people, for the supports to help them be more independent individuals for their unique profile is a better way to look at it and advocate for. As parents and advocates, our goals should be to understand these dual levels and ensure that we are addressing every area that is needed. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Finding Your Identity in Your Autism Journey. If you found today's discussion helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, remember, every journey is unique, and every step forward is progress. You got this. Until next time. Thank you for tuning in to Finding Your Identity in Your Autism Journey. I hope today's episode inspired you, brought you some clarity, or simply reminding that you are not alone. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and if you enjoyed this conversation, leave a review and share it with someone who might need it. Until next time, remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and together we can navigate this journey one step at a time.